Goldberg is perhaps the most protected wrestler of all time. During his days in WCW, he managed to go 173 matches without even being pinned, and when he was pinned by Kevin Nash at the 1998 Starrcade pay-per-view, this was seen as a rather controversial decision. But when Goldberg joined the WWE in 2003, for the most part, their strong booking continued, and only a select few superstars were given the honor of defeating the legendary star clean. But which times were they? Well, join us now as we look at every wrestler to defeat Goldberg clean. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 7. Roman Reigns. Now, the most recent person to defeat Goldberg clean was Roman Reigns. Now, this match took place at the 2022 Elimination Chamber event, and the match was presented as a dream match between two masters of the spear. Interestingly, the match would act as Goldberg's final match of his WWE contract, meaning that as of right now, this would have been Goldberg's final match of his WWE career. Goldberg did the right thing in putting over Reigns, and it was certainly appreciated that Goldberg did the right thing in what was seemingly his final match. The match between the two was kept short to hide Goldberg's limitations, and it came to an end after Romans locked in the guillotine submission hold, and this made Goldberg actually pass out. Now, a crazy statistic was that this marked the first time in WWE history that Goldberg has ever lost via submission. He had, however, lost via submission in WCW, and this was in a match against Scott Steiner in the year 2000, but as was typical with WCW in that particular year, it wasn't a clean victory. Number 6. Braun Strowman. WWE had high hopes for WrestleMania 36, that was before COVID-19 took over the world and put WrestleMania 36 in jeopardy. WWE decided to have the pay-per-view take place at the Performance Center in front of no fans. The issue was that one of their top stars, being Roman Reigns, wasn't going to be at the show. This meant that the planned Goldberg vs Reigns Universal title match was cancelled. WWE had to find a suitable alternative for Reigns, and there were a number of options from Daniel Bryan to Jeff Hardy, but ultimately WWE decided on Braun Strowman. Their match wasn't anything special, and Braun would perform 4 power slams on Goldberg to capture his first and only Universal title. Fans were rather disappointed that this huge moment of defeating Goldberg clean was given to Braun Strowman, as his popularity had seriously diminished. The desire to see Braun become world champion simply wasn't there. Number 5. Booker T. Now, Goldberg lost on a number of occasions in WCW, but hardly any of these were clean losses. Even when WCW wanted Goldberg to lose, they would try and protect him as much as possible by having people interfere and having his opponents cheat to win. But there was one match which could be argued that Goldberg lost clean in, but this also has to have an asterisk placed by it, as the match was against Booker T in the summer of 2000 on Nitro. Although the match featured interference, it was given a no DQ stipulation, meaning Booker won within the rules of the match, thus making it a clean finish in the eyes of the WCW match type. Booker defeating Goldberg was quite rightly presented as a big deal by WCW, however there was some criticism from WCW fans at the time, as Goldberg kicked out immediately after the 3 count and virtually no-sold Booker T's finishing move. This was likely a mandate from WCW management at the time in order to protect Goldberg as much as possible. Number 4. Triple H. One of Goldberg's most infamous feuds during his time in WWE was against the cerebral assassin Triple H. Goldberg was initially set to face the game in the main event of SummerSlam in 2003, but this was later changed to an Elimination Chamber match after Triple H suffered a groin injury. This resulted in Goldberg taking his first pinfall loss in WWE, as he would be pinned by Triple H in the Chamber match in a rather controversial move that some say ruined Goldberg's first run in WWE. Although Goldberg would eventually defeat Triple H the following month at the Unforgiven pay-per-view to win the world title, the damage was already done. The two would embark on a 4-month-long feud which had a number of twists and turns, and on an episode of Raw, Triple H actually defeated Goldberg clean. On the November 17, 2003 edition of Raw, Triple H, Randy Orton and Batista defeated Goldberg, and although it was a handicap match, it was still a clean victory as Goldberg was pinned after a pedigree. Number 3. Drew McIntyre. When Goldberg is booked in a world title match in WWE, there is a sense of anxiety that WWE are actually going to give Goldberg the victory. This has been seen time and time again in matches with the likes of Kevin Owens and The Fiend Bray Wyatt. Therefore, when WWE booked Goldberg to face Drew McIntyre for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble in 2021, there was some concern that WWE may put the title on Goldberg heading into WrestleMania. Luckily they didn't. Instead, WWE decided to put McIntyre over clean in a short 2-minute match. Goldberg would even embrace McIntyre after the match had taken place. This was the correct way to use Goldberg, and seeing him put over a younger talent was refreshing to see. Number 2, The Undertaker. Goldberg taking on the legendary Undertaker at one stage was considered a dream match, but when the match finally took place at the Super Showdown pay-per-view in 2019, it was an absolute nightmare. What should have been a passable match was filled with dangerous botches that could have led to serious injury. Both men shouldn't have been in the ring, and the match has obtained a reputation for being one of the worst matches in WWE history. Goldberg would later refer to the match as the perfect storm of crappiness, while The Undertaker would publicly declare that the match was a disaster. The match would end after The Undertaker hit a chokeslam on Goldberg, giving him the clean victory, but it wasn't a victory to celebrate, as both men looked defeated as the match came to an anticlimactic end. And number 1, Brock Lesnar. One of Goldberg's arch rivals throughout his WWE career has been Brock Lesnar. The two have had a total of 3 matches against each other, and Goldberg has managed to defeat Lesnar on 2 separate occasions. The first occasion came at WrestleMania 20, as both men were on their way out of the WWE at this point, so WWE awarded the victory to Goldberg, who was a babyface at the time. The second occasion was 12 years later at the Survivor Series pay-per-view in 2016. Here Goldberg shockingly squashed Lesnar in record time, and this was a move that nobody saw coming. This was actually Lesnar's idea, as he wanted to work more with Goldberg, and he knew that Goldberg needed to be re-established after 12 years away. The two would then meet one final time at WrestleMania 33 for the Universal title, and on this occasion Lesnar was victorious with a clean victory. This match was praised by fans, and it actually considered to be one of Goldberg's best matches. But there you have it folks, every wrestler to defeat Goldberg clean. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.